Hey guys, we're back here on the Liberty Hour here with Bailey Green, and we were just talking about marijuana and when we believe the issue is going to get solved, and I think it's going to be quite some time, and I think you agree, Bailey, unfortunately. But, the thing is, I think a lot of people look at where you're at in Ukiah as a place that is pretty conservative in terms of Northern California. Have you talked to people in the region at all, or if you know, how do people in the area think? Are they more conservative? Are they more open-minded to the idea of pot? In general, what do you notice?
Well, unfortunately, Ukiah is kind of Ukiah itself is kind of weird. It's filled with there's a lot of homeless people here, man, because it's so commercialized, and they just chill on the corners and shit, So, and I'm pretty sure most of them are stoned. So I'd suppose the opinion's good, but a lot of them are probably doing a lot more than just weed. That's for sure. But this region in general, there's a lot of growers out here, man, and a lot of them are just kind of they're kind of out there, They haven't really joined the rest of society at all, and they grow all this weed. They think growing all this weed is a great idea, and they don't really have a market to sell it to. Most of them aren't growing it legally. Most of them don't know enough people to get it sold. So they've got these massive farms, just farming marijuana. Then they've got pounds and pounds and pounds lying around that aren't going to go anywhere. Yeah. So the weed culture around here is very, very accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. At the end of the day, they like their weed here.
See, I'm partially surprised by that, and I'm partially not surprised because I understand that obviously with a lot of more farmland up in that area and way marijuana is being commercialized, that it's a good place to set everything up and make some good profit. But at the same time, I know Ukiah is kind of the along with Redding, the cornerstone for conservatism in Northern California. Not to bash on conservatives, I'm not saying all of them are against weed. I'm just saying that usually they are. And I'm maybe half surprised, half not surprised by that answer. But that's good to know.
Yeah, definitely, man. But I mean, unfortunately, I'm going to put them on blast here real quick. Their weed's not great because the growers here aren't quite doing it right. It's a lot of farm grown weed, and a lot of independent growers, especially growers that are under the radar. They'll use pesticides and such, on their weed, which we don't want to smoke. If we're honest, if you're a real stoner and you really smoke medicinally or even recreationally for your own health, you should consider the weed you smoke. We don't want to smoke chemicals,
Right.
Truly. And then, when we started legalizing marijuana, and especially medical marijuana, I think the goal was to actually use the marijuana. We don't want chemicals. You don't want to eat chemicals. We don't want to smoke chemicals, So,
right. Well, before I get to that, I will get to that. I was going to say, I think a lot of people, I don't think there really is that big of a divide when it comes to pot because in California, because the thing is, Northern California gets looked at as the most conservative part of California, but I mean, even Chico, that's a party city. So weed has become more of a party drug. So, a lot of young people, once again, Chico. So I don't think a lot of people are against it there. And then, a lot of coastal big cities up in Northern California, and not to pick on the coast, but coasts are usually more free-loving people. So I don't think there really is that big of a divide when it comes to California. Getting to what you were saying on the chemicals and everything when it comes to weed, that's a big consequence of the drug war in general, but especially when it comes to pot is people say, oh, it's so dangerous. Well, what's so dangerous is synthetic marijuana, which has been created due to the drug war and due to pot being driven underground by the everything, and that goes with other drugs as well. It gets worse when you drive it underground. People are going to make some terrible shit.
Oh, absolutely, man. And that's the unfortunate part about the taxing involved in the recreational marijuana, because
right.
The tax rate to buy recreational marijuana is about 30%, I believe.
Yes,
which is really a lot of money.
31.25.
31.25.
That was what it was in the Bay Area, at least.
Interesting. No, I think it's statewide. I'm pretty sure it's a statewide law. I bought my weed. In fact, I'm smoking a joint filled with gelato I bought in Yo City, Sacramento, and yeah, they tax. And I go to this place because of how legit they are. I'm medicinal, and they still charge me. The 30 or 31.25. You said, or 0.2.
Looking right now. Let's see. So sales tax ranging from 22 to here we go. Sales tax. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. Sales tax ranging from 22.25% to 24.25%, but there's also a state excise tax of 15%. And then there's a state and local sales taxes ranging from 7.25 to 8.25%. So it's not just
taxed.
one rate. In reality, if you add all of that up, it's almost creating 45%.
That's crazy. Yeah, and see, look, I they charge me the tax and I pay the tax. I don't mind. I don't smoke a lot of weed. I smoke every day, but I smoke about an eighth a week. And big stoners know that's not a lot of weed. Some people smoke that all at once. you know, I can, but that's for occasions. Parties. It is a party drug. I will give it that. I've been told no, don't use it as a party drug, but how are you going to tell me that? I don't even have fun when I drink.
Right. Here we go. Can you hear me still, Bailey? Bailey? Shoot. Bailey, are you there? I think his mic cut out. I was just going to respond to that and say, yeah, I agree. And the thing is, when you have weed that's at 45% tax, it's obviously going to get driven underground, and it's still going to be in the black market. It's already driven underground when it's illegal. But even when it's legal, but you have a high tax rate on it, people still aren't going to want to buy it with that high tax rate. In reality, what you need to do is you just need to legalize it and leave it alone. So in reality, that's what should happen. I'm going to go ahead and try to call Bailey back because I think something happened here. Give me one sec. Yeah. People always talk about legalizing, taxing, and regulating. In reality, it should just be left alone, besides maybe very little regulation, in my opinion. Even though Colorado's made it work with the amount of tax dollars they've gotten from it, I don't think it's going to work as effectively in California. Personally, that's just me. Bailey's phone may have died. That's fine. Is what it is. Hopefully it comes back on. Maybe I'll get him for a little bit more. But if I don't, it was great having Bailey on. I'm great. We got to talk a little bit, catch up. Once again, I get to hang out with him a little bit, but it was nice to know how his job works and stuff, how he's been doing up there. Again, I met him in middle school, and we became pretty good friends. And I agree with him on the whole pot thing. I think when it comes to splitting California, I agree with him for the most part, but I think that when it comes to representation, it would be a good thing. I'm kind of, like I said, on the fence of if I'd vote for it or not. I'd have to see the language of the bill. But I think it's a very interesting issue, but it could definitely have bigger impacts than many realize. But overall, I'm glad we got to talk about pot there a little bit. Just so you guys know, I'm not a smoker. I'm not. I will... once in a while, when some people are in town, I'll try it out a little bit. But I'm for the most part straight edge, and I work hard too. But I mean, I don't need drugs. It's just me. I mean, I'm different than some people. But I definitely, just because I don't have drugs doesn't mean I don't think people should have the freedom shouldn't have the freedom to do so. I think people should have the freedom to do as they choose when it comes to their body, as long as they're not harming somebody else. True libertarian belief there. But yeah, so I want to thank Bailey for being on. I appreciate that. Oh, here we go. He's back on. All right. Hey, man.
Hey, man. What's going on?
Hey, no, you're good. Hey, I filled it in while you were gone. You're perfectly fine.
So we're rolling?
Oh, yeah, we're good. We're good. Yep.
Great, man.
Yeah, so I was just talking about, I was responding to what you were saying, and I was saying that, yeah, when you have a high tax rate, you drive it underground basically to the point when it was illegal, and you make it harder for people to still get the drugs, so it's still part of the black market underground. What really needs to happen is it needs to be legalized and left alone. If anything, very little regulation. It may have worked for Colorado when it comes to taxation, but I don't know if that's going to really work the same in California.
No, definitely not, especially when it comes to the fact that we've been medicinally legal for so many years, because now, the medicinal users, I've had my license since I was 18,
Right.
So I can't even drink yet, and I can buy as much weed as I would like.
Right.
So it's kind of funny, but okay. No, I thought the call dropped again. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
No, but as I was saying, the medicinal users know their shit,
Right.
So when it comes to these two different markets, and as I was saying with this medicinal place I go to in Sacramento, is they're so legit that I know I can count on them to be there, because I don't buy my weed in Sacramento so often. It's not really. I have no business there. I have family there. I have friends there. I have no business there, so it works sometimes when I'm there,
Right.
And it's good stuff, and that's why I consistently go to this place. It's called Zen Garden Wellness.
Well, you might have to show me when you're in town next Saturday.
What, man? I will.
But yeah, no, I'm with you there on that for sure. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, thank you very much for being on. I appreciate it. I'm glad we got to catch up about how your work's going and everything, how you've been doing. Got to talk about pot there. I'm glad we got to talk about some issues, the California thing. Yeah, it's been a pleasure having you on, man. I can't wait for next Saturday. I'm glad you'll be coming in town, get to hang out a little bit. But, yeah, you have a good work week. Hope everything keeps going well for you. And, yeah, thank you very much, man. I'll let the rest of the 420 be with you.
Definitely, man. Work hard, play hard.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Happy 420, everyone.
Happy 420. All right, man. You have a good one.
All right, man. Have a good night.
All right, peace.
Peace.
All right, so yeah, like I was saying, that was Bailey there, so we got to close that out. Sorry that the call went a little bit of a wry there towards the end. But yeah, it was great having them on, so I'd like to thank Al and Bailey for being on the podcast. Before I get to break, I talked about Syria earlier with Al. I didn't get to bring this up. We're doing documentary poetry in my news writing and reporting class, and I thought I'd read this for you guys. This is something that's kind of in the woodwork. I need to edit it down a little bit, but this is a documentary poem I wrote on our Syria attack that we conducted last Friday. Here we go. Attack. Attack. Chemical weapons used on the Syrian people. 42 dead, including children. Time to respond. Headlines claim it is Assad, but how to know? No investigation. Didn't give the OPCW time. Western Alliance hits back to show they care. Do they? Over 2,500 killed from United States airstrikes, 1,500 dead from chemical weapons attacks. Who's the real monster? Do the headlines ask these questions? Hundreds of millions in green spent to turn Damascus orange and gray. Russia states there will be consequences. World War III? Should we be afraid? The attack only took place on Friday the 13th of all days. May have been civilian casualties, but does it matter? These people have tried to flee in the past, but apparently there's no room left in the melting pot. Freedom, democracy, world's policemen? More like the greatest threat to world peace. 24% of the world believes so, and many here don't disagree. To break that down a little bit for you guys, and I'm not a poet, by the way, so if you like that, I appreciate it, but I'm not a poet. When I say these people try to flee in the past and there's no room left in the melting pot, I speak about the Syrian refugee crisis. I am torn on the issue, but knowing what we have done over there, if we're going to be in that region attacking these people, or attacking the government, the least we can do is let these people come to our country as a safe haven. And then when I speak about the 24% of the world that believes so, and here don't disagree, there was a Gallup poll done in 2014 in 65 countries. They polled 66,000 people, and 24% of the world said the United States is the greatest threat to world peace, twice as much as the next one, which I believe was either Russia or Iran. So put that in perspective of what we have done the last 20 years of our foreign policy, really since World War II, and what the world really view us as, which is the monster that I speak of. I'm going to end this part, and I'll close this out for you guys.